Taped from New Jersey, it's the SNL Nerds, the show where two comics from New Jersey nerd out about Saturday Night Live. I'm your co-host, Darren Patterson.
And I'm your co-host, John Trumbull.
Mr. Trumbull, how are you, good sir?
Well, I'm doing okay. How about you?
Living good. I almost said living the life chasing a dream, but I stopped myself.
You did? I heard you stop yourself.
Stop myself right in my tracks. I'm like, no, Darren, you say that all the time. Let's switch things up. New year, new me.
I can't say that anymore. John mocks me when I say that now.
I don't want to have this catchphrase. I don't want people to come to me in the streets waiting for me to say my catchphrase. And be like, hey, Darren, how you doing? Say it. Say the phrase. And I don't want that.
Is that happening?
Yes, mobbed by fans as I am. I have people coming up to me in the streets after shows, John.
Yeah. You did do a couple shows this weekend, didn't you?
Yeah. I did the first one in a long time. I did a show at my good friend Katie Compa's. Has a show at the QED in Astoria, Queens.
Mm-hmm.
It's a show that starts at 11 at night, so it's a late one.
My goodness.
Yeah, I could tell just me saying 11 p.m. You're already like...
I'm exhausted. I am like half asleep now because I've traveled to QED in Astoria, and it was a long trip when I worked like just outside the city, and when I'm coming from where I am in New Jersey. No, I don't want to do that.
I hear you. I mean, for those that don't know, QED, it's on the very last stop of the N train in Astoria, Queens. It's a really cool spot, really nice.
It is. It's a great venue. I'm not knocking it. I'm just knocking the time and the hassle it takes to get there from New Jersey.
Yeah, it takes a while. Yeah, we left at we left pretty late, like 10 o'clock, so there was no traffic or anything, and it still took us about 45 minutes to get out there.
I am amazed your wife went with you for this one. That is love right there.
Yeah, hey, she's in it. She's ride or die, I believe the kids call it.
Darren's wife, she comes out to like every show you do, doesn't she?
Pretty much, yeah. Unless she's like under the weather or whatnot, she will come out. Like, she's heard me tell the same jokes over and over again, like to the point where I'm like, you don't have to come. Like, you've heard this schlocky material over and over again. Like, let me.
Darren's a hack, if you don't know, everyone.
Yes, absolutely. I'm one of the worst in the biz. But like she comes out, she supports. It's a beautiful thing, John Trumbull. It's a beautiful thing.
It is. It really is sweet. I am touched whenever we do a show together, which we haven't in quite a while.
It's been a minute.
And but when your wife is like always out there, and she's always like smiling and paying attention and cheering you on, and it's nice to see. I'm like, oh, that's love. Yay. That is love right there.
What is love? I don't know. That's the first song I thought of with the word love in it. That word association.
That is definitely a song with love in it.
There you go. Yes, right. Yay.
You're not wrong, sir.
I am not. Speaking of love, there's a lot of love for this movie we're going to talk about today. Segway King.
Just A+ transition there, my friend. A+.
That's right. I majored in this in college in segways.
Yeah, we're doing. I'd say one of the more famous movies starring several SNL alums. We're doing National Lampoon's Vacation from 1983.
It came out July 29th, 1983. Had a budget of $15 million and made $61 million. This was a big box office smash. Directed by the late great Harold Ramis. Screenplay by John Hughes. How about
John
that?
Hughes. This was kind of like the John Hughes at the start of his 80s renaissance. Was this John Hughes' first screenplay?
I think it was.
Yeah.
Well, I'll double check, but I believe.
Okay, we will say that it was John Hughes' first screenplay until we are disproven on this fact. But the movie, it stars Chevy Chase, Beverly D'Angelo, a young Anthony Michael Hall, Dana Barron, Randy Quaid, who at the time this movie was made, it was not on SNL yet, but he would be within a couple of years. Uh, John Candy, special appearance towards the end there, not on SNL, but late great John Candy from SCTV and many other
Right.
great credits. And who else? Who am I forgetting? Oh yes, and it's introducing Christy Brinkley.
Oh, yes, Christy Brinkley, who
Yeah,
Hachiwawa. This is her first film, as well.
yeah, the film debut of Christy Brinkley, hence the and introducing. This was Christy Brinkley was famous at this point because I believe she first became really famous as like one of the Sports Illustrated swimsuit models in the early '80s, and then she was like one of the supermodels from the '80s, and then she married Mr. Billy Joel, had a daughter
Mm.
with him. Um, got divorced at some point. I think she's been married a couple times since.
But
I don't
yeah,
know.
I mean, yeah, of course, we all know
Yeah.
her seminal work from Parks and Recreation as Gail Gergich, and
Yes. Yes. Jerry's wife. Uh,
yeah, I mean, she's just been known to be one of the most beautiful people on the planet. I mean, she's
mhm.
like professionally pretty. She's pretty
Yeah.
for a living.
That's when you think about it. That is such a weird way to make a living, right? To being a model, to be like just your occupation is to be hot.
Right. Yeah, it's nice.
That's
Nice work if you can get it.
I guess so. I mean, hey, when you hit the genetic lottery like that, you gotta you gotta make the most of it during your peak years, I suppose. So,
Here, here.
yeah.
Oh,
So,
also, all right. So, real quick, so I did a little research just now, and yeah, this was not John Hughes' first movie he's written because before this, he wrote a little thing called Mr. Mom with
oh right, okay.
Michael Keaton,
Terry Garr,
and
Martin Mull, yeah.
yeah, another film called Class Reunion, and
Okay, that was another National Lampoon film I remember, and it had some of the Animal House people in it. I think.
right, another film called The Secret Life of Nikola Tesla, which I've never heard of.
Okay, so I think we've established that this was not John Hughes's first film.
Right. But also, here's a little fun fact. He wrote 4 episodes of a little thing we covered on this podcast, a little thing called Delta House.
Delta House, the short-lived TV sitcom version of Animal House that they did not call Animal House for reasons I still do not understand.
What a way to confuse anybody who is a fan of Animal House who might watch this TV show.
I know, I just that's so weird. It's like when they made TV shows of MASH and The Odd Couple, they did not change the titles.
Yeah. It's like,
and and there's nothing wrong with the title Animal House, and they were doing and Animal House was such a big hit that they did a couple of other college-based sitcoms. I think one was called Brothers and Sisters, and one I forget what the name of the other one was. But it's like you are the one set of people that can call your show Animal House, and you don't call it Animal House. You call it Delta House. I just
yeah, that's like you have the name. The name has cachet. Just
yeah, you have the
use it.
I don't know. So anyway, but speaking of brand, this was part of the National Lampoon brand, and National Lampoon, of course, huge comedy magazine. We talked about it a bit on some of the other episodes we've done of this podcast. We did in the episode about Doug Kinney that we did
Stupid
called
and futile gesture.
Stupid and Futile Gesture. Thank you. I always forget the order that the words come in that title. I'm like, is it stupid and futile or futile and stupid? I can't remember. Uh, but yeah, Animal House was like this seminal comedy magazine in the 1970s, and they expanded the brand into the movies. They did Animal House, they did National Lampoons, they did a few other films, and this film was based on a short story by John Hughes that was published in the magazine in 1979, I think it was, and it was called Vacation 1958.
Mm.
Um, and it was loosely based on a family vacation that John Hughes had taken with his family. I'm sorry, it's called Vacation 58, not 1958. But
Got
it
it.
has one of the best opening lines I've ever read in a short story. If Dad hadn't shot Walt Disney in the leg, it would have been our best vacation ever. Uh, that is a great opening line. That gets your attention, and you immediately are like, "Well, what's this all about?"
Yeah.
And it's really interesting. The movie expands out from this short story and adds to it, of course, because you have to expand it out a little bit. But the basic structure of the movie is there in the short story. There are some differences, though. I mean, the biggest one is that it took place in 1958, and they go to Walt Disney World or Disneyland instead of Wally World in the movie, because when they were making the movie, the Walt Disney people were like, "Well, our park is never closed. Our park is open 365 days a year, so
Right. And then
you can't do
COVID took,
that."
yeah, COVID took care of that.
COVID took care of that. I believe Disney is back up, and they're probably all up for business again. But
I believe so. But yeah, I think like, but when COVID hit, like that was literally the first time ever that like Disney World has ever closed, I believe,
yeah,
which is wow, what a run.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, it's an interesting movie, and it's I mean, I think it's widely regarded as a classic. Would you say that's fair to say?
I would say so. Yeah. I mean, directed by, like I said, directed by the late great Harold Ramis, written by the late great John Hughes, one of the man who brought us things like 16 Candles, Mr. Mom, Pretty in Pink, Weird Science, Ferris
Hmm.
Bueller. I mean, the
Yeah,
dude pumped out hits. Uncle Buck.
yeah.
Wow. Yeah, yeah. I mean, Home Alone. Like, yeah, he's yeah. I would, but yeah, I would say, I would definitely say it is one of the classics. I think it's one of Chevy Chase's most well-regarded movies. One of the ones he's probably best known for.
Hmm.
And yeah, and I mean, it did so well that they've made all those other National Lampoon movies: European Vacation, Vegas Vacation, Christmas Vacation, and then they tried to
Hmm.
reboot the whole thing a couple years back with Ed Helms as well. So like I
Yeah,
definitely
I
would say.
watched that version on TV one afternoon, and it's an entertaining enough thing for to watch it on TV one afternoon. They had some interesting meta humor in it.
Right.
Uh, so yeah,
Sounds like a rave review.
yeah. Well, it's it's fair to middling. It's got N. Helms and it's Christina Applegate, and it's pleasant enough. They have some cameos from the original movies. Um,
Okay, but yeah, I think yeah, because in that one, Ed Helms plays Rusty. So I think Chevy
A
and
grown up Rusty,
Beverly.
yes. Yeah.
Right,
But like
right.
at one point in the movie, I remember because the vacation movies are kind of infamous because they recast the kids with literally every movie because there were usually a few years in between each movie and the kids were growing up. Every time they were getting ready to make a new movie, the child actors were too old to reprise their roles basically.
Yeah, actually,
So
I think I read like if you look in this movie, you see like towards the end when they get to Wally World, you
yeah.
could see that Anthony Michael Hall's character Rusty is actually as tall as Beverly D'Angelo, and that's because
Yeah.
like, after they shot everything, they had to do the reshoots, and like within that time from them finishing and having to do the reshoots, like Anthony Michael Hall went through a growth spurt, and he actually
Yeah, it
grew
was
into
4 months later when they reshot the ending, and Anthony Michael Hall, who had been this like the same height as Beverly D'Angelo throughout the movie, he's now taller than her. And I'm looking at the end of the movie. Dana Barron, who was playing the daughter Audrey, she looked a little different too. Like her cheeks looked a little fuller. And towards the end of the movie, Beverly D'Angelo just has a completely different hairstyle. Did you notice
his.
that?
No, I didn't.
She's got straight hair through most of the movie, and then like suddenly the last third of the movie, she's got curly hair.
Well, she got her hair done because
It's the
they make the
weirdest
Wally
thing.
World.
It's the weirdest thing because it's like, wait, the family's flat broke. They've had all these disasters happen in the movie. Why does she suddenly have a new hairstyle? When did she have time or the inclination to do that? it's a weird thing.
Yeah, you can't show up at Wally World looking all shabby. You
I
gotta,
guess not. I guess not. But I mean, so the movie concerns this family, the Griswolds. We got Chevy Chase's Clark Griswold, Beverly D'Angelo as his wife Ellen, young Anthony Michael Hall as the son Rusty, and Dana Barron as their daughter Audrey. And they're all going to pile into the family car and take a road trip from Chicago, Illinois, out to California to go to Wally World, which is Disneyland and everything but name.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's pretty much pretty basic premise for a film. It's just like, yeah, we're family going out to California on vacation, and
Yeah,
like we could even see at the very start of this film that like this whole thing is headed for disaster because we see, at the beginning of the film we see Clark and Rusty taking their car into a dealership because they're
right.
gonna
To
get a new,
trade
they're
it
gonna get
in.
traded in, and we
Yeah.
get right off the rip, we get a cameo from Eugene Levy in the beginning
I'd
as a car.
forgotten that Eugene Levy is in the beginning of this movie. I mean, it's Harold Ramis throwing his old SCTV colleagues a gig, so that's nice to see.
Yeah,
And
getting Eugene some work, and
yeah,
yeah. So like right off, of course, right off the bat, the dealership takes the old car. They bring out the new car, but it's not the car they ordered. It's
right.
the big like wood paneled green monstrosity,
Yeah,
and they're
he
like,
wanted Clark wanted the Antarctic blue sports wagon that he ordered, and then the dealer's doing a bait and switch basically, and he's like,
yeah,
"Oh, well, that car didn't get here, but we've got this new car. This would be much better for your road trip." And it is a monstrosity. It's like this station wagon, and obviously the production designers have gone to town on it to make it look even more ridiculous than it actually was. I mean,
yeah,
it's an ugly
yeah,
color. It's got the wood paneling. Not a
it's
good
rough.
looking car.
Yeah, and I also liked how like as soon as Clark sees it, he says, "Yeah, this isn't the car I ordered. Where's my car?" And then Eugene Levy goes to one of the people that work at the dealership. He's like, "Hey, Carl, what happened to this man's car?" And the guy's like, "I don't know."
Yeah.
And then that's it. That's the only answer we get.
Uh huh. Uh huh. And yeah, Clark, of course, is like, oh well, hey, you can't get a kidder. I'll just take my old car back. And then, but we see that his original car has already been crushed flat, and it's a
Yeah.
pancake. So he has no choice but to take the new car.
They destroyed his old car immediately. Didn't
Yeah.
even wait. Didn't even hesitate.
And I don't know if like car dealerships that have the crushing apparatus on the premises, I don't know if that is a thing or if that has ever been a thing. In my experience, that is not a thing.
Yeah, like I don't think I've never seen a car dealership with the car crushing devices and heavy machinery in the back. Like
Yeah.
that's that's
I
different.
used to work for a car dealership, and I mean, we had garage and repair facility, of course, but the car crushing thing, no, that is like a very specialized piece of equipment.
Absolutely.
So, but hey, yeah, movie's gonna movie. It's also funny that like when Clark gets into the car, he immediately sets off the airbag, and obviously they didn't do a real airbag. It is so obviously just a garbage bag that they blow up with air.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I was like, that's clearly a trash bag.
Yeah,
Clearly, it's not. I mean, it's
it
a
is.
comedy, so I get it. So I'll just.
Yeah, I mean, you feel like at the end of that take, Tom Bosley was like, "Hey, are you done with that trash bag? I'm going to need that back for the Glad commercial I'm shooting in 5."
Wow, a Glad commercial reference with Tom
That's right.
Bosley.
That's right. Tom Bosley references in the podcast. You're welcome,
We
America.
we know what the kids like. We're
Yep.
we're up to date.
So Clark takes this crap car home. Then that's when we meet Beverly D'Angelo as Ellen and Dana Barron as Audrey. And Clark is like, "Hey, I'm going to map out my route on the computer. Where here's how we're going to go cross country." So he takes this early 80s home computer that's like hooked up to the TV, but the kids are playing video games. They're playing Pac-Man, and then somehow, even though it's on a completely different machine, somehow the kids are able to take over his computer mapping program and have Pac-Man eating the dots on that. So it's just this is like it's 1983, and I think people in Hollywood just still assumed computers are magic and can do anything.
Yeah, computers,
It's
that's how they work. You can mix
I,
in
yeah.
video games with your regular workflow.
Yeah, like this is the same year as Superman 3, where like Richard Pryor creates a computer that can kill Superman and turn somebody into a robot. So it's like, yeah, people in 1983 had no effing idea what computers were or what they could do.
Yeah, back then Texas Instruments was like the devil. I'm assuming.
It's just it's just such a weird gag because it's like this totally weird surreal thing and there's no other gag in the movie like it.
That's true. It's a
It
it's a
just
weird
it
one.
just totally breaks the reality of the film, the quote unquote reality of the film. But
Right. But
anyway,
yeah, it's a funny little gag, little sight gag, and
is it is it though?
it's it's there.
I would say not.
All right, it's something. It
Yeah,
fills up time.
I mean it is a gag that they did. I don't know if it's funny so much, but anyway,
All right. It's okay.
okay, agree to disagree.
All right. Wow. All right. Here we go. Okay. The podcast off to a roaring start.
Yeah,
All right. So yeah. So they pack up the horrible monstrosity of a car, and then
yeah,
they hit the road. I also liked how, as soon as they got the car home, the car already started having problems, like the engine's
hmm,
knocking, and it's like it
yeah.
sounds like something's wrong with it immediately as soon as they took it off the lot. So I was like,
Yeah, yeah, and like when they're backing out of the garage, all the luggage comes off the roof. It scrapes against the yeah. So that I mean, just it's we can tell this vacation is already going to be a comedy of errors.
exactly.
And even when they're filling up the car on their trip, Chevy Chase Clark Griswold cannot find the gas tank, and he's looking. He like I think he rips off the license plate on the back because he's looking for it. He can't figure out where it is, and then finally Ellen says like, "Oh, here it is, in this thing in the hood." And yeah, Chevy Chase, of course, is doing all his usual Chevy Chase sort of shtick.
Right. Like
And
I think in that scene, because like you said, he was looking for the gas cap. It wasn't on the left side. It wasn't on the right side. And then he
yeah,
saw the car next to him. The gas cap was
yeah,
like underneath or behind the license plate. So he tried
yeah,
to yank the license plate. He ends up ripping it off and almost hitting the woman next to him. According to
yeah.
IMDb, yeah, he didn't. That wasn't meant to happen. Like if you look at it when he does that and he almost hits the woman with the license plate, that you see like a look of concern on his face. That's real because he really he was like, oh shit, I almost hit that woman with this license plate.
Okay,
So
I'm not sure if I buy that. Okay, first of all, Chevy Chase having a look of concern for another human being, that doesn't really pass the smell test. Um,
damn, homie.
not really buying that. I did put in my notes at this point. I was like 12 minutes in, and I'm already sick of Chevy Chase's shtick. So
Oh dear.
I was like, oh, this is going to be a long movie. This movie hour 38 minutes, 12 minutes in. I'm like, I think I'm already done with the leading man.
Oh boy. Wow. All right, here we go.
I mean,
Uh
yeah, I mean Chevy Chase. He's doing his Chevy Chase thing throughout.
Chevy's gonna Chevy.
Chevy is gonna Chevy. He Chevy's all up in this bitch.
It is full on Chevy in this.
It is full on Chevy, and it is a fucking lot.
So the family hits the road. They make a they drive through St. Louis, and
Mm-hmm.
they take the wrong exit. They get
Yep.
lost, and they end up in the hood.
They end up in a bad neighborhood. They try to stop for directions, but they are in the hood. And because it is 1983, we're gonna get really racist with this shit.
That's right. At one point, he stops to ask the pimp for directions. The
Yeah.
pimp says, "Fuck your mama," and
Yep.
he says, "Oh, all right, thank you," and goes off and leaves.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he asks another fellow for directions, and the guy is just feeding him this long line of bullshit while all his buddies are stealing the hubcaps from the station wagon.
Because
And
that's what we do.
because and yeah, and I wrote a note at this point. I was like, only black people in this movie? Question mark. Because as far as I can remember, it was.
Well,
But
no, no,
there is one more black person who shows up towards the end. So
There you go. Diversity. We're doing it.
So, yay!
Yeah, as soon as I saw that scene, I was like, all right, I've seen this before. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like, hey, we're like, hey, all right, brother, I can show you the way. Sure, for show. No diggity.
They like the white panic jokes in the early 80s, man.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
uh,
even 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 Harold Ramis, I think in the commentary expressed regret over this scene. He was like, "Yeah, I wouldn't do this scene the same way today." So, points for Harold Ramis for showing personal growth.
there you go. There you go, Ramus.
But yeah, it's very Animal House. Do you mind if we dance with your dates? You know,
Yeah, and like something happened that I didn't even notice till later because like you can't really see it until like the daylight scenes kick in. But it
the
looks like they,
the writing on the side.
yeah, like I didn't notice that until they got to Randy Quaid's house, where I was like, oh, they
Yeah,
spray painted on the side of the car. All right.
yeah. You can see it a little after that when they show up at the hotel at night. Yeah, the guys they spray painted honky lips on the side of the car for some reason.
Yeah, which as a black person, I was like, when did we ever say that? Did I miss a meeting? I don't remember.
I don't think that was ever a phrase. I watched a lot of episodes of The Jeffersons as a kid, and I remember the word honky being used a lot. I don't remember honky lips ever being a thing.
Yeah, like that. I gotta like, I don't know. Maybe it's a Chicago thing. Maybe John Hughes is like, I've heard this in my days in the hood.
I feel like it was more something like we want to make something up that sounds vaguely racial, but we don't want to be too offensive. So
We want something racial that the kids can enjoy.
do black people ever make fun of white people's lips?
I mean, we do, but we don't spray paint it on cars. We, you know,
Okay.
we're quiet about it. I've said too much. I'm sorry, black people. I didn't
Sure.
mean that. Really,
No. That's okay. I'm sure that is a segment of your regular meetings.
yeah,
So
really. I'm spilling the beans here.
you are.
Oh boy.
So and then they have the thing after that where we're panning around the car. We see that the family is, the kids are asleep in the back seat. Ellen is asleep in the front seat, and then it pans over to Clark, and he is asleep at the driver's wheel, and the car starts drifting and goes into oncoming traffic. There's a great shot where the car just like whizzes through the suburban neighborhood, and a guy walking his dog just yanks the dog up away from the path of the car. Uh, that
Yeah,
was
like
very funny.
yeah. I mean, that guy really has to get that timing just right because if they don't,
And
ooh,
I'm looking at this. I'm like, is that a real dog? Are we? I yeah.
I don't
I
know.
don't know if it was a real dog or not. I don't know if that was a shot worth abusing a dog over, like yanking the dog by its neck.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. Yeah, a lot of things happen to dogs in this movie, but we'll get there.
Yeah, there is a lot of dog abuse. I don't know if there was like an ASA, CPA disclaimer at the end, or like Humane Society disclaimer. I suspect not. But
Like no animals were harmed. No, we can't say that.
yeah, I'm feeling like maybe some animals were harmed during this. At least
Ooh,
in story, the animals are harmed.
ooh
Um,
boy.
so the Griswolds like get to the hotel. They all settle in for their first night. Um, and again, because it's a movie in the '80s, we have like a brief scene of like totally gratuitous nudity, where like Beverly D'Angelo is just taking a shower.
Yeah. Now you're talking.
It's so weird when I go back and watch movies from the early '80s for this podcast now, because it just so reminds you, yeah, this was kind of a different era, and they do not make movies in this way anymore.
Look, if you're gonna have a rated R comedy in the '80s, you can bet your bottom dollar the thing's gonna have some boobies in it. It needs it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and it's just they so don't do that anymore. I mean, not
Yeah.
that there's no nudity in movies, but it's usually a little more relevant.
Yeah. I mean, an '80s comedy without boobies, that's like cornflake without the milk, baby.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, people didn't have the internet yet, so
Right. That's right. This was their only outlet to see some boobs.
This or buying a Playboy at the 7-Eleven, those were the options. So
Got a stack of nudie mags. Gotta- ever
and
ever bop the baloney?
and I remember like Beverly D'Angelo. I think she was very free with her body. You know, she was like in Hair back in the day, so she just does not give an F. She's just like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Hey now, ain't nothing wrong with
Oh, got it, flaunt it. Yeah, wait, and then we have the thing with the vibrating bed. This kind of sets up that like Clark is very sexually frustrated throughout this whole movie. He's trying to have some intimate moments with his wife Ellen, and he's thwarted throughout this movie.
Yeah, the kids are constantly cock blocking him, and he's
Uh-huh.
trying to use the massage bed, and the massage bed is all broken and goes haywire. It's
Yeah,
a it's a lot. Or my boy Clark just wants to get his nut off, and it just ain't happening.
beautifully put, sir.
Thank you. I'm a bit of a poet.
Not trying to take the high road here. Darren's just like, yeah, he wants to get his nut off. Okay,
What? He is. That's what it is, man. That's what it is, baby. Come on, we ain't nothing but mammals.
do it like they do on the Discovery Channel. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Da, 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 da. That's a great song.
Um, Again, agree to disagree. Um,
I actually did go to like one of their concerts years ago, but that's another story for another time.
who was that? What was the name of the group again?
The Bloodhound Gang. They
The
had.
Bloodhound Gang. Yeah, okay. You and me, baby. I mean, it's a catchy song. I'll give you that.
Yeah, yeah, it's got a hook.
It's got a hook. It's got a hook. I mean, it's like the Holiday Road of its day.
Yeah, we'll talk about that too, because like our listeners, John and I just saw the video for that for the first time in a long time, and that
Yeah.
that video is odd.
Okay. Well, let's just go talk about it now.
Okay.
The,
All right,
the
yes.
the theme song for this movie is by the great Lindsey Buckingham, who you know from his years in Fleetwood Mac, his brilliant solo career, and from guest starring on What's Up with That a whole lot.
Exactly. And yeah, and he made the song Holiday Road because as I think we said before, like a lot of 80s comedies had to have like its own theme song. Like of
Yes.
course, as we talked before about Spies Like Us,
Hmm.
Back to the Future had Power of Love. Like every
Hmm.
80s
You,
movie
you
had
had
to
you
have.
had Kenny Loggins with
Oh yeah. Caddyshack.
Caddyshack. Yeah, yeah. So this is in that vein. You do a nice rock song, you get a little cross promotion, you do a cool music video that's got clips of the movie, and people are like, "Hey, that movie looks cool. I am going to go see that and listen to that catchy rock song during the opening credits."
Hmm.
And Holiday wrote not a whole lot in the lyric department.
It's well, first of all, it's a super short song. It's like a little over 2 minutes.
2 minutes
And
long. Two
and
minutes
like
long. About five lines the man wrote. I mean, here are the lyrics in their entirety. I found out long ago it's a long way down the holiday road. Holiday road, holiday road. Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. Take a ride on the West Coast kick. Holiday road, holiday road, holiday road, holiday road. And now we are in the last verse, all right. I found out long ago it's a long way down the holiday road. Yes, the last verse is the exact same as the first verse. And then he repeats holiday road four more times. So
final verse, same as the first.
So Lindsay Buckingham, I feel like if he spent more than 10 minutes on the lyrics of this, that was too long. But it's a great hook. I mean, it's a fun song. It's a catchy song. They reused it in every damn vacation movie they made. So
It's a hell of a song, absolutely. But
it's a hell of a song. Video is weird.
yeah, for those that haven't seen the video, it is like I said, I haven't seen it in a while, but it does
Yeah.
not match the tone of the song at all. Like if you listen to the
Or
song
the movie. I mean,
or
it's
the
it's a
movie,
very upbeat sounding song, and the video is like this sort of grim dystopian half the apartment, half metropolis sort of thing of all these people in this corporate office atmosphere with this boss overwhelming. It's very 1984, you know?
Very much so. Yeah, Lindsey Buckingham is in it. He's not smiling at all. He's in a suit. He stares at the camera and just dead
Staring
eyed.
straight into the camera. He is like, I mean, it's young, handsome Lindsey Buckingham. He's not like the silver fox that he is today, but it's, I mean, it is, yeah, it's creepy Lindsey Buckingham, or as creepy as Lindsey Buckingham is capable of being.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's I think the video ends with him behind like an office desk, and the camera pulls back and we see he's like behind bars, which I
Yeah,
guess it's kind of, I mean, the whole video is basically saying, like, the office workplace and the daily mundane grind of office work is like a hellish prison, I
yeah.
guess.
So it's like he's fantasizing about taking a holiday, maybe, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what Lindsey Buckingham or the makers of this video are trying to say in it. I will just note cocaine was a very prevalent drug in the 1980s.
Yeah, I could see that.
Whether there's a connection between those two things, I do not know.
Yeah, I'm sure the pitch was, all right, so like he's in an office, man, but he's behind bars, man, because
Sniff.
because office life is like a hell, man. It's like you're in a prison, like you know what I mean,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Let's
yeah,
do it.
yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. Okay.
Oh, oh God, I can't. My heart.
All right. Let's shoot it over lunch. Okay. Yes.
Let's do it. Let's do
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
This, oh my God,
Yeah.
best
Yeah.
best
Yeah.
video ever. Oh.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
'80s.
most 1980s music videos look really weird today. This is a particularly weird one.
It's a weird one. It's a bizarre one.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
seemed
so
normal at the time.
that's at the time people got it. People were like, this is leaps and bounds beyond what anybody else is doing. This is the
Yeah.
future. And now in the future, it's like, nah, this is
Yeah,
not
it's
good.
what the hell were we thinking? It's and I mean, but it's a cool song, very catchy song. It got dogs barking at the end of the track for some reason. Don't know what that's about, but it's cool. I'll go with it.
Yeah, it's all right. But yeah, that it does not match the song at all. It is
Yeah,
like, yeah, there's like two different messages they're sending out there.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so the Griswolds, they're continuing on their road trip. They go to Dodge City, Kansas, which is this horrible tourist trap. They've got the whole town made out in this western motif. Um, and not much happens there. Like Clark, one of the bartenders pretends to shoot Clark, and Clark he dives like he was actually shot, and then he's like, "Ha ha! No, I wasn't shot. Ha ha!" And
Yeah, not much happens there. And then, like, I think at
mm,
one point, Beverly says, "Oh, I don't like that gunshot because it can mess with the kid's hearing." And then it seems
yeah,
like one of the kids' hearing was affected, the daughter Audrey. And I thought that
yeah.
would come back into play at some point, but it never does.
I feel like it was supposed to be Audrey was just joking, but it's not entirely clear. You're not sure if Audrey's hearing generally got screwed up or not. It's weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I don't.
So like as the family gets back on the road, Clark is gonna
Whoa,
yeah
whoa.
back on the holiday road. Yeah,
uh,
um, he's like I'm gonna detour to Highway 54 to see the House of Mud. That's a reference in the story. And
okay.
then when everybody else in the family is distracted because like I think the kids were acting up in the back seat. Uh, Clark looks to the side and he sees Christy Brinkley as this hot blonde woman in a Ferrari, and she's giving him the eye because again, I talked about this in our Spies Like Us episode. For some reason, in every movie Chevy Chase made in the '80s, like women treat him like he's this sex god, and I do not get it.
I kind of like. I don't. I guess you're right. Like there was a thing in the '70s when he was, first out on the scene. Like
Yeah,
he was kind of he was like being pitched as like a leading man. He had the little, butt dimple chin,
yeah,
and he's very quick and clever and suavemente with it. And yeah, like I mean, but I don't think he had like classic leading man good
No,
look.
he's like handsome for a comedian.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is a nice way of saying not handsome. I mean, he's not bad looking, but he is not a classically handsome Hollywood actor. He's not like a Cary Grant or something, but I don't know. Maybe I am just not seeing it. I think after our Spies Like Us episode, one of my friends who listened to the podcast was like, "Oh no, like 1980s Chevy Chase could get it." So yeah,
Um,
maybe the
hmm,
man was a sex god. I don't know.
I don't. Maybe. I mean, maybe he had some moments in Fletch where he looked like, oh, I see it. But yeah, for the most part, he's just you know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like in Caddyshack, he flirts with Twiggy, and I think he sleeps with um, Cindy Morgan in that. And in Spies Like Us, like all the ladies were swooning over him. And but hey, Christy Brinkley married Billy Joel in real life, so what the hell do I know?
Hey, and anything's possible.
Anything's possible. Love is love.
Yeah, and also, real quick, did you think for a little bit that maybe like Christy Brinkley's character might have been like a mirage or like a figment of his imagination? Like it was like
It would have made more sense if they'd revealed that she was a figment of his imagination because nobody else seems to witness it when she is around.
yeah, I thought it was like a Tyler Durden situation or something like that where it just
That
seems
would make
like
more sense. Apparently, according to the IMDb trivia, in the original ending, she was going to be revealed as Roy Wally's daughter.
ooh,
And I'm like, oh well, that's kind of a cool way to tie it all together. The woman in the Ferrari, by the way, does not feature in the short story at all because 1958, and I don't think Ferraris were a thing yet.
no, it would have been like like an Edsel or I don't what did they drive back? Not an Edsel.
They drove
I'm
Model Ts, I think. I
yeah.
mean, it was all flubber powered, and Fred McMurray drove them. It was a whole thing.
Yeah, see, I'm trying to figure out what cars people drove in '50s, and I'm all I can imagine is like Archie's Jalopy. I was like,
She'd
I'm sure
be in
that's not
like a
right.
Corvette, I guess, or a
Okay,
Mustang, whatever they drove
okay,
on Route 66.
got it. Okay,
Like Jack Kerouac would be hitching a ride with her, I guess. Anyway, so
okay.
he keeps seeing throughout this movie. He sees Christy Brinkley as the woman in the Ferrari, and that's what she's credited as, woman in the Ferrari. Never gets a character name or anything like that. She is just woman,
Yep.
just there to be object of lust.
Oh, she's listed as eye candy. Okay,
Yeah,
as
pretty
meat.
much,
Hmm.
pretty much.
Okay. Oh, Christy Brinkley's listed as object.
Yeah. I mean, she was listed with the props, which I thought that's just not right.
When
It
they,
was like props master and then Christy Brinkley's name rolling up in the credits.
yeah.
That seems wrong, even for 1983.
Okay, yeah, like when they were filming it, they had to ask the prop master. All right, so you have Christy Brinkley in the truck with
Right.
you, right?
They just put her in a box in between takes.
Bring out the Brinkley.
Bring out the Brinkley.
Oh, good times.
1983. They didn't know that women were any good, and for like another 15 years.
Yeah, they were just there to be used for whatever. All right, I'm gonna shut up now.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's best that we do before we start like a hashtag cancel SNL nerds.
Oh boy.
Um,
Hey, we could use your attention.
we could. So the family, they make their way to Coolidge, Kansas, where their cousin Eddie, played by Randy Quaid, back when Randy Quaid was still nominally sane.
Mm,
So that tells you right there how long ago this was.
it was a while
So
ago.
Randy Quaid is there as cousin Eddie and his wife Catherine, and then their kids, Vicky and Dale. Uh, did you recognize Vicky, by the way?
I did. That actually really caught me by surprise because,
Mm-hmm.
ladies and gentlemen, we get a surprise cameo from Jersey's own Jane Krakowski.
Jane Krakowski of future 30 Rock fame, Ally McBeal fame, and Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt fame. All sorts
Uh,
of fame. She's been on Broadway too. She's a very famous person.
yeah, and I looked it up. This is her very first film as well, and like
Her film debut.
Yeah, like I think with the exception of like a ABC weekend special she did, this is like the first thing
Hmm.
she's ever done. So like as soon as
Yeah,
I saw, it, I was like, oh, is that Jane Krakowski? Sure enough,
yeah.
it is.
I actually got to meet Jane Krakowski a few years ago. Have I told you about that?
I think you mentioned it. It was like a playhouse or something.
Yeah, she was doing like a feature on 60 Minutes or something like that. This was, I think, when she was on Broadway in that show that she did with Zachary Levi, She Loves Me. And it was, they were doing sort of like the where did she come from sort of thing. And so, like, she was filming this at the Barn Theater in Montville, New Jersey, which is not far from where I live. And a friend of mine mentioned it because he was working the box office that day. I happened to be home that day, and I had a caricature that I'd done of Jane Krakowski on a mock comic book cover I'd done that
Oh, neat.
was parroting 30 Rock. So I went to give her a print of that and got some pictures of her with that. And I should post those on the SNL Nerds Facebook page. So I got to meet Jane Krakowski. She was very nice. I gave her a few extra copies to give to the 30 Rock cast members that she is still in touch with.
Oh, fantastic. That sounds great.
So like the people that are local,
Right.
Tracy Morgan and Judah Friedlander, world
Got
champion
it.
of the world.
Of
And
course.
I can't remember. She said if I gave her one to give to Tina Fey or not. I don't know. I
Okay.
remember Tracy and Judah's name coming up. So
All right. Wow. Look at you meeting the stars.
meeting the stars and like I had my friend take like 3 pictures of us together, and you can tell that like she is a professional Hollywood actor person. I am just a schlub. I look pretty much like the same in all 3 photos, but she has the sense to like change her expression and her pose slightly. So it's like,
Ooh.
oh yeah, you can tell which one of these 2 people has done tons of photo shoots.
She's not new to this.
She is no, not her first rodeo. This, however,
Right.
was her first rodeo because film debut.
Aha. Absolutely. Oh, bringing it back.
So yeah, and the kid playing the son Dale, I think he's. I remember seeing this kid pop up in a lot of movies and things in the '80s.
Okay.
I'm gonna look up his name real fast. So
Okay. All right. But yeah. So like as they
John
get.
T. Navin Jr. So
Oh, don't
yeah.
not familiar. But
Well,
I mean I
let's
do.
let's let's go to his IMDb listing because well, I want to figure out where I know this kid from.
Let's go to the videotape. I mean, I do like also how like as they get to the place, the kids kind of break off and hang out with their country cousins.
Yeah,
We see the daughter Audrey go off with cousin Vicky, and apparently Vicky is alluding to the fact that she may have kissed her dad at some
yeah.
point.
She says like she's bragging that she is French kissed. Audrey not impressed. She says, "Oh, big deal. Everyone has." And then Vicky says, "Yeah, but Dad says I'm the best at it." So
There you go. All right.
there's some stuff going on in Cousin Eddie's household. By the way, John P. Navin Jr. just looked it up. I think where I know him from, he did a sitcom in 1983 called Jennifer Slept Here.
Oh
Which
yeah, I remember that.
you remember that? It was like Ann Jillian is like a dead movie star who was
Yeah,
mentor. She was like haunting her old mansion or house, and she was mentoring this kid for some reason. Again, 80s were weird. Cocaine was prevalent. Um, don't know what that was all about, but yeah, that's where I know that kid from.
yeah. I swear, like it's like that's one of those sitcoms where you think you made it up in your head because you never hear anybody else talk about it. You
Yeah,
can't really find any information on it online. But like I swear this was a thing. But yeah, I
yeah.
remember Jennifer slept here. Just I don't know.
But you
It was bizarre.
describe it to someone, and it sounds like a fever dream because it only ran for a year, never reached syndication or anything. But I remember watching that. I had a little crush on Angeline. A total of 13 episodes, but I watched this damn thing as a kid.
Yeah, because there was like you said, the ghost of a starlet trying to help like a young teenage boy who's like the only one that could see her,
Yeah,
and so yeah, I guess it was yeah. The more I say it, the more weird it sounds.
the '80s were wild, man. The '80s were freaking wild.
Shit was crazy, dog.
Georgia Engel from Mary Tyler Moore was in this. Glenn Scarpelli. Uh,
The Glenn Scarpelli?
Glenn Scarpelli was in this show.
Holy Toledo. Gee whiz.
They've got an ad for this on IMDb. It says, "Does Jennifer stand a ghost of a chance when a Playboy comes back to haunt her?" So apparently they had other ghosts in other episodes. Um,
oh wow, really exploring the universe or expanding the universe.
they really are. They really are. There's another episode. Joey has Jennifer in a jar.
What?
A phony exorcism backfired. Can Joey save the beautiful ghost from life in a mason jar?
Why did they have to throw in that she's beautiful? That's like, don't forget,
Well,
guys.
I think that was their main selling point for this sitcom was like Ann Jillian was a popular star at the time, so it was like kind of a star vehicle for her. I guess this was after she did Making a Living. Uh,
Yeah, I guess so. I guess it was like, don't forget, guys, she's hot. We got a hot woman in here.
there's another ad. Somebody apparently scanned a bunch of TV Guide ads for this sitcom. Joey faces the crisis of his life. Can Jennifer help? And it says, "You'll laugh through your tears at this very touching episode." So apparently they did a very special episode of Jennifer Slept
It was the '80s, man.
about the ghost of the Hollywood starlet
It's like
mentoring the young teenage boy.
we can't just have this be about like a ghost trying to help a teenage boy, get his nut off. We have to have a message here.
Okay, these ads are hilarious. I am going to have to tweet these. These are the best things I have ever seen in my life. Um,
Oh, the rabbit holes we go down on this podcast.
yes, but oh my god, worthwhile.
Absolutely.
Here's a tagline for the premiere: "With a ghost like Jennifer, comedy is alive and kicking." And it's got, and this is not a photo. This is an artist was paid to do this art. It's got John B. Navin as the teenage boy, and his shirt is off, but he's got the bed covers pulled up, like, oh, someone's seeing me partially undressed who's not supposed to be seeing me. And then we've got Ann Jillian in like this Marilyn Monroe type of sequin gown with a feathered boa, but she's ghostly, so you can see through her. So,
Wowie. Oh boy, this is.
I'm honestly now impressed that this thing made it to 13 episodes.
It's wow.
Here's another tagline: Jennifer Farrell. Once you've met her, you'll never give up the ghost.
Give up the go. Okay, all right.
So
I mean, that's
get it
kind of
because
fun.
she's a ghost.
So you don't want to give her up. That's
Don't
kind of
want to
like.
give her up. Never gonna give her up. Never gonna let her down. Never gonna run around and desert her.
Nice. She's no stranger to love.
Yeah. So
What?
anyway, Dale teaches Rusty how to masturbate, and Vicky gets Audrey high for the first time.
Yes,
So that's what
basically
happens there.
Yeah, and then we're also introduced to Aunt Edna in this when they visit the cousin's house too, played by Imogene Coca, if I'm not mistaken.
Imogene Coca from best known for her work with Sid Caesar. She was on Your Show of Shows with him, I believe.
Absolutely. And yeah, so we find out that Aunt Edna actually came out to where they live from Phoenix to sort of help
She
them out.
traveled out. Aunt
That's,
Edna did not come out and announce that she was gay.
yeah. Oh, sorry. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yes, she traveled out to
Yes.
to the family because of, apparently, the cousins are on a hard financial times,
Yeah.
and we learned that, yeah, like if it wasn't for Aunt Edna's um, Social Security, they wouldn't be able to make it. We also see like them having like a little cookout in the backyard where they're literally just making hamburgers with hamburger helper, no meat.
Yeah.
That's a rich man's luxury.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
He's like,
no.
I don't know why they call this hamburger helper. It's fine just by itself. And he's like, I think it's much better than the tuna helper. So and Clark's kind of balking at this, but Ellen's like, well, you get plenty of meat at home, dear. Yeah. Imogene Coca, she plays Aunt Edna, who's this very unpleasant older woman.
Yeah,
and
she's a cranky old bird.
yeah, yeah, and then Eddie and Catherine kind of spring this on them. They're like, "You're going to get to drive her to Phoenix!
Yeah,
Yay!"
literally at the last minute, they're like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna drive her back home to Phoenix. Thank you for that. All right, bye."
Yeah. By the way, I just found a quote uh, from Mark Evaniers' website, newsfromknee.com. This was an obituary that he wrote when Imogene Coca died in 2001 at the age of 92.
Wow.
So she was around for a good long time. And like the last few years of her life, I think there was a whole generation that probably only knew her from this film. Um, and he talks. Mark Evanier, he writes about spending the day with her one day, and he says, "We stopped in front of a video store where there was a display from the Vacation movie, and she said, 'You know, I don't remember a thing about making that film, and when I saw it, I didn't have any idea what was going on. I died in it, and it was supposed to be funny. I don't think that's funny.'"
Oh boy.
So, not a fond memory for Imogene Coca.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's unfortunate.
Well, it's a different generation of comedy. I mean, the
Yeah,
National Lampoon style of comedy, it's much more outrageous, much darker than anything they did.
I
But
get it. Yeah, but I get it.
yeah,
Like it's like, oh, you guys find jokes, humor in old ladies dying.
yep.
All right. Okay.
And National Lampoon was like, yes, very much
We get it.
so.
It's hilarious.
Drag on the joint,
Yeah.
line of cocaine.
Get it? It's funny because you're dead.
Yeah, and we're
Get it?
high. Uh,
So yeah, it looks like they have to take Aunt Edna to Phoenix, and
mhm.
they also apparently have to take her badass dog with them as well.
Dinky, yes,
Dinky. Yes, it's a dog that just no one likes. Eats everything up, and it's
bites people. Yeah,
and bites people.
yep,
Absolutely.
yeah. I mean, they do not waste any time with Aunt Edna or her dog being pleasant at all. And
Yeah.
I think that was very intentional because, spoiler alert, they're killing both of them off before the end of the film.
Yes, absolutely. They are gone. Like, we'll
Yeah.
get to it, but yeah, like basically, Aunt Edna goes, dies, Little Miss Sunshine style, like on the road.
She dies hard. Yes.
Hmm.
By which I mean that she uh, kills Hans Gruber at Nakatomi
Yes,
Plaza.
yes, absolutely.
So, after they take up Aunt Edna, we see the Griswolds at a rest stop, and Clark runs into Christy Brinkley's character again, um, and she's like filling up her Ferrari, and she is like literally dancing next to her car like she's in a commercial.
See, this another thing that makes me think he's like hallucinating seeing her because like no one
Yeah,
like well for one thing
who does that?
I don't know, people are just beautiful
she
and happy with their lives.
I guess maybe I
Like,
don't. It was just so weird. I was like, I mean, if she was doing a photo shoot or something, I could see her dancing next to her car and be like, "Yay! I'm having a great time filling up my car with
yeah,
gas." And Clark
yeah,
is like kind of dancing back at her. Apparently, this was improvised on set.
yeah. She's
Uh,
she's dancing, filling up her car like a Zoolander.
yeah,
Wake
if she
me
had
up.
a gas fight like in Zoolander, that might make more sense.
Very Zoolander esque.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, it's they're continuing this flirtation thing, and and again, I just don't see the appeal for her, Christy Brinkley. It's like, ooh, suburban dad in a members only jacket with his family in tow. Gotta get me some of that.
Hot. Uh,
And you're absolutely right. This would make so much more sense if it was just Clark's imagination.
yeah, like that would be because like he's all pent up, because he didn't get his nut off,
Yeah,
and so he just sees this beautiful woman everywhere he goes and thinks, what if
yeah,
it would make a lot more sense.
it would make so much more sense. But no, apparently this was literally true because yeah, it's got to be literally true from what we see in the movie later.
Absolutely.
Oh, and
So,
the dog peed on the sandwiches, so we get some gross out humor in there too, which
uh,
ugh,
dog, dog pee, hilarious.
it's like and nobody and you're like you don't smell that at all, really?
Yeah,
You
like,
just bite into the wet sandwich, and
yeah. I
it
mean,
takes you a few bites to figure that out. Okay, all right.
yeah. I mean, not for nothing, but pee smells. You know pee when you.
Pee has an odor.
Yeah. I mean, don't eat. I'm not even talking about the asparagus stuff. I'm talking about just regular run of the mill, dime a dozen pea.
Yeah, yeah.
It
And you
stinks.
are holding these sandwiches in your bare hands. I'm just saying that this is not a joke that holds up to any kind of scrutiny.
As soon as you touch the sandwich, you're like, hey, whoa, wait a minute. This is
I mean,
sopping wet.
if you have any kind of sandwich and it is not a French dip sandwich, it is
Yeah,
not okay for it to be wet.
exactly. Even sloppy joes are dry.
Yeah, exactly. A French dip is the only time it is remotely okay for you to have a wet sandwich.
Here, here.
All right. So anyway, they go to this campground called Camp Comfort with two Ks.
Mm.
Uh,
Yes, they're
and
in
we get another SNL alum in there, Brian Doyle Murray,
right. Yeah, they're in Colorado at this point, and
Colorado. That was it. Okay.
yeah, and we see Billy's brother Brian,
Hmm.
and yeah, then they spend the night in some tents. The
Yeah.
kids are happy to see a pool there. It's like, oh, they got a pool, awesome. Kids go to the
Yeah.
pool. Pool is filthy with two geese floating in it.
Yeah. So no pool. Yeah. This place kind of a tourist trap.
Yeah, bit of a dumperoo.
And by the way, it costs them $37 to get three tents in $1983. And let me check for what the value of that was. According to the dollartimes.com, in today's uh, currency, adjusted for inflation, that would be the equivalent of $105.69. So,
That's still not too bad.
yeah, it honestly doesn't sound like that much. I mean, they're bad tents, but I don't think they're getting gouged as much as they could. I don't. Well, whatever.
Oh boy.
Anyway, so Clark tries to have sexy times with Ellen again, and then the dog disrupts them. Apparently, this was another thing where they rewrote it. Uh, there was originally going to be a sequence where the owner of the campground, Brian Doyle Murray's character, disrupted. He was like dressing up as wildlife
Right.
and
Yeah,
disrupting it.
he was supposed to dress up as a bear and scare them because, like, I
Yeah,
think he hints that the price includes a lot of wildlife fun or something. So I
right.
guess that the wildlife fun includes dressing up as a bear and scaring the bejesus out of your customers.
Yeah, that sounds more like his thing. That sounds like his little personal fetish. Um,
That's how he gets his nut off.
I mean, hey, I'm not kink shaming. You do what you got to do as long as you have the consent of all parties
Right.
involved. Go
He's
nuts.
he's a furry. He's one of the earliest furries. I think I
He
found.
is a furry. Brian Doyle Murray is playing a furry in this. They cut that scene out, but he's still a furry. Let's be real here.
Brian Doyle furry.
Brian Doyle Furry. Perfect. Perfect.
Done.
Um,
Oh,
so so they're leaving the campground. The dog is still going nuts the next morning. Clark he ties the pooch to the rear bumper of the station wagon.
yeah. As soon as he did that, I was like, I think I know where this is going.
This is not going to end well. No,
No, no, it's
no,
not.
it is. And yeah, they're back on the road. Clark's like, "What is that rattle? I've been hearing that rattle for a while. What is going on?" And then he gets pulled over by a motorcycle cop, and the
I,
cop is just enraged at him.
Right. Absolutely, as you should be, because like he asked him to like, get out of the car, and I think he
Yeah,
immediately says like if I wasn't a cop, I'd smack you over the head with the butt of my gun. Like he
Right.
threatens him immediately, and
Immediately, right out of the gate. And you're watching that and you're like, is this movie made in 2022?
oh shit, tell him.
And I'm like, oh no, no, because he would do that in uniform here now. So yeah.
Oh damn. Oh shit. Trumbull's woke. Let him know what's up,
Hashtag
T.
defund the police. Um,
Let him know what's up, JT. Tell him what time it
but
is.
but yeah, we find out the reason the cop is enraged. He pulls up an empty dog collar with a leash attached, and then Clark instantly realizes, oh shit, I never untied the dog from the bumper and put him back in the car, and I've inadvertently been dragging this dog behind us for however many miles it's been.
Yeah, like did no one in the car notice the dog wasn't there anymore?
No.
Didn't
No,
anybody was
this
like,
this again, this comes straight from the short story.
okay.
There is more description of what the corpse of the dog looked like.
Oh God.
Yeah, but it's a short story. It's not illustrated, so it's just left to your imagination. In a movie, I think very right not to show the dog carcass and
Yeah,
just leave it to your imagination.
I thought that was a smart move too. And they actually had like a good exchange between the cop and Clark.
Hmm.
They had this one joke I thought was like the funniest joke in the movie where the cop said, "Do you know
Yeah.
what the penalty is for animal cruelty in this state?" And
Hmm.
Clark is like, "No, no, I don't." And he's like, "Well, it's probably pretty steep."
Yeah, yeah. The cop has no idea either. It's I think the actor's name was James Keach, if I have that right.
Yeah, that's actually pretty. I actually like that the little back and forth they had. I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah, yeah, he plays that role well. Yeah, I mean, he's got it's just one scene, but he's got a lot of notes to play, and it is pretty funny. I think it's a little handicapped because like Chevy Chase, he never really plays anything for real. He's always got at least a couple levels of irony that he's
Right.
operating under. It might have
Yeah.
been better if he'd played it more real, I think, but
Uh, yeah, I can see that. But I
but Chevy's
also
gonna Chevy.
Chevy's gonna Chevy. I also like at the end, he gave him back the leash in front of the family, saying, "Here's the leash, sir. I'm gonna go get the rest of the carcass off the road."
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're trying to play it like they're trying not to let on to Aunt Edna because they're like, well, why horrify her? Why give this horrible woman any extra ammunition against us? And
Yeah.
and yeah, so Ellen, of course, who realizes what happens, and the kids who realize what happened. Aunt Edna doesn't realize what happened, and Aunt Edna thinks that Clark's just been pulled over for speeding. And
Right. Absolutely.
but then
Uh,
after that, it's dog killer.
yeah, because he did indeed kill a dog. So
Did indeed kill a dog.
no animals were
Let's
harmed.
see.
We think maybe in the making of it.
Maybe I don't know. We let's go on to the closing credits and yeah, find out. I
Uh,
don't think they killed a dog. I'd like to think they didn't kill a dog, but it's
I
1983, so who the hell knows?
I mean, look, National Lampoon did pull a gun on on a dog on the cover of one of their magazines.
That's
So
true. That is one of the that is the most famous National Lampoon cover. If you don't buy this magazine, we will shoot this dog.
I don't know. They're not above putting down a pooch for comedy. That's all I'm saying.
Well, threatening to kill a pooch for
Threatening.
comedy.
All right, all right. Let's get into semantics. All right.
I don't think they literally killed that dog on that magazine cover because if they did, that seems unnecessary.
Your Honor, we only threatened to kill that dog. So
We only put that gun against that dog's temple to get that weird expression.
yeah.
And it is a hilarious cover. I got to give it to him there.
Your
Uh,
Honor, in our defense, it is pretty hilarious to see a gun.
it is hilarious. Go Google that cover. National Lampoon dog cover. You will not be sorry.
Hey now.
Um,
So at this point, they're lost in. They get lost in Arizona. They
mhm,
took a wrong turn. They're looking for the Grand Canyon.
right.
And
Well, we also have right before this, we've got a third encounter with a woman in Ferrari when everyone else is asleep. So
right.
again, still conceivably could be a figment of Clark's imagination. And we have a thing where they lose some of the luggage from the back of the car. So Ellen loses her vanity case, her credit cards, and her diaphragm.
Ooh. Oh boy.
which I guess is going to be another reason that she doesn't sleep with her husband on this trip
I
or something.
guess.
But the credit cards come into play later.
Right. Absolutely. Look,
So
it'll all come
so
into
go on.
play.
They're looking for the Grand Canyon in Arizona.
Right, and I think we see Ellen and Clark get into a little bit of a argument because
Hmm.
I think at one point Clark says, "Oh, how hard could it be to find it? It's the biggest hole. It's one of the biggest holes in the world." And then I think
Right.
Aunt Edna berates him, and then he says, "Well, the second biggest hole." Ha ha ha!
Yeah.
Ding!
It's funny because he hates Aunt Edna.
Uh, women be women be nagging. Am I right, boys?
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then at this point we see they got lost, and then I think the daughter says, "Hey, I think I saw some detour signs. Like I don't think we should be on this
Right.
road." And then if Chevy says, "Well, I didn't see any signs. Like if there was a rose closed detour sign, there'd be a big one up, like this one here." Oh no!
Right.
And of course, it's a big sign saying road closed. They smash right through it. They fly like 50 feet in the air, I believe,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
uh, and crash in the middle of nowhere in Arizona.
Yeah. And I think this was shot at like Monument Valley. It looks like Monument Valley from all those John Ford westerns.
It looks like I don't know what Monument Valley is, but I'll take your word for it.
I'm pretty sure. Okay, let me see. Talk a little more while I Google this because I'm now very curious if this is Monument Valley or not.
Okay. So yeah. So at this point, the car is totaled. All four tires are flat. Looks like the front end is all smashed in. It's actually pretty impressive when you see it. It looks like no special effects done here. It's all the real
I mean,
deal.
it's 1983, baby. They did that shit for real.
It's like we're smashing cars. If the Blues Brothers
Yep.
can do it, so can we.
It is Monument Valley, Arizona. I mean, pretty much any Hollywood Western was shot at Monument Valley. So,
Oh wow. All right,
yep.
fantastic.
Yep. I mean,
Yes.
they did do like pretty much every location in this movie they went to for real. I mean, and they went to a lot of different states. The Camp Comfort stuff was shot in Colorado, it looks like, and they shot a lot of stuff in Arizona, and they actually went to the Grand Canyon. There was a lot of I think second unit shots in particular here. So
Oh, wow, fantastic. Okay, pretty cool. So at this point, the family is lost. They're in the middle of nowhere, running
mhm.
low on money. But
Yeah.
Clark still has this optimistic way about him, saying, "Oh yeah, I'll just walk out in the desert and find the next gas stop. It can't be too far."
Can't be too far. It's only going to be. I'll be back in an hour.
Yeah, but I do like at just before he leaves, he has like a little heart to heart talk with Rusty.
Yeah,
Saying you're going to be the man of the place while I'm gone. So what you have to, and
yeah.
like
And Rusty has a great line that's like a callback to earlier in the film. And Rusty goes, "Well, I've only been a man for a few days, Dad." And that's of course a callback to his cousin Dale teaching him how to pleasure himself.
yeah, Bop the baloney, I believe they call him.
Bop the baloney because he's got a stack of nudie books this high.
hmm I even liked it
And
when they showed him with like the grips, like the finger grip thing to like make his grip strong.
oh jeez, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, you can see it. Cousin Dale has like one of those finger grip things that like they do
Like
in
like weightlifters have.
yeah, exactly. So he's been at this for a minute.
He's doing his exercises so he can get the maximum
Yes.
whatever. But yeah, but it's a cute scene where Clark's trying to have a heart to heart with his son, and he gives his beer over to Rusty to because that's something his dad did for him at his age, and Rusty, while Clark is talking, just chugs the whole beer.
Yeah, checks the whole damn thing.
Um,
There was
I
also
think that I think that's the best scene in the film. Personally, I think that is the funniest scene in the film because Chevy Chase and Anthony Michael Hall in particular play the hell out of it.
yeah, I think it's like a pretty that is a pretty solid scene too. That's like one of my second
Yeah,
favorite scenes. I also
like
like the part.
you watch this scene and you're like, this is why Anthony Michael Hall was like such hot shit in the mid '80s because he was really good. He was a good child actor, man.
Yeah, just like right off the rip, he had it down packed. I also like the little thing
Yeah.
they did where Clark just like casually puts on his glasses as he
Uh
talks
huh.
to him, but then like as he keeps talking, you see the glasses are broken, and then like they're
Hmm.
broken in half. It's like one half just straight up falls off his face, and then the other half
Yeah.
falls, but he just keeps talking. They don't even make mention of it. That's like a
Yeah,
nice little
that's a
side bit.
very Chevy Chase sort of thing. That's like Chevy Chase's version of subtlety.
Chevy's gonna Chevy.
And for the rest of the movie, he's got the tape on the middle of his glasses.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think that's definitely the best scene in the film. So Clark runs off to find a gas station. He takes and he eventually finds a garage, but then the family is already back there because they right after Clark left, they ran into some Native American folks who were there. This was apparently in another deleted scene, and then they took them to the garage. So
Right. Apparently, they met up with a native, like you said, two Native Americans. They still make it in the movie because like the Native Americans
yeah,
see Clark walk across the desert with like I think at one point it gets so hot he hallucinates and puts his pants on his head for cooling, and of course they call him an
yeah,
asshole. And
yeah.
yeah, so then the family says, "Oh yeah, we met up these nice Native Americans." Well, they didn't say Native Americans; they said the other word.
It was
And
1983, so they yeah.
yeah, and apparently they had a camel with them as well.
Yeah, again, apparently there was more to this, but they just cut it down to the bone because they said I was reading on the IMDb trivia the camel they had was raised in Burbank, so he had only walked on pavement and did not react well to walking on hot sand.
All right, so the camel didn't like his natural habitat.
I mean, the camel was being a prima donna. It sounds like.
Yes. Excuse me. I'm a sidewalk camel. I'm not used to all
Yeah,
this hot sand.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
can you talk to my agent about this, please? Thank you.
yeah, yeah. Just not good. So anyway, so he's reunited with the family at the garage. The garage guys are very shady. They take all of Clark's remaining $500 for the tow and the repairs.
Yeah. So now the family is flat broke.
Flat broke. Next scene, Clark's like, "Hey, Audrey, give me your babysitting money." Uh, and then they get to a hotel at the Grand Canyon, but they can't get a room because their credit cards have been reported stolen. And Clark's talking to the guy at the desk. He's like, "Oh well, no, that was my wife's cards that were stolen. I still have mine." But obviously, the credit card company misunderstood, and they. So anyway, they have no cash, and so Clark is at the end of his rope, and he steals money from the cash register at the hotel.
Right. You gotta do what you gotta do, my friend. Sometimes you gotta break the law.
Yeah. So
So yeah, at this point, I think I think this is the point where Clark says, "Hey, look in on Edna's purse while she's sleeping, and
yeah,
see how much money she has. She only has like 13 cents." And then they say, "Oh,
yeah,
well, you should wake her up anyway because it's time for her to take her pills." And it turns out Aunt Edna has gone to the eternal sleep because
yeah. Oh, by the way, before we get too deep into the Aunt Edna death thing, I do like that there's a quick thing when Clark is trying to make a quick getaway after stealing the money from the hotel.
oh yeah, yeah,
Uh,
that's pretty hilarious.
Ellen is like admiring the view at the Grand Canyon, and Clark is like, "Okay, come on, honey, let's go." And she's like, "Well, Clark, don't you want to look at the Grand Canyon?" And he's like, "Oh yeah." And then he like stands and looks at it with her for like literally 2 seconds, and then he's like, "Okay, let's go, let's go, let's go." And I love that they actually went to the Grand Canyon for that gag because that
Yeah,
could not have been cheap.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like
I just love the idea of them going to the Grand Canyon and doing like less than 30 seconds shooting the Grand Canyon. That's hilarious.
it's all for the joke. It's all for the joke.
It's all for the joke. It's all for the joke. So anyway, Aunt Edna dead, passed away somewhere near Flagstaff.
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
So then they decide to drop her off with cousin Normie, who lives in Phoenix.
mhm.
They get there, and I think at the time because the kids didn't want to be in a car with a dead person, they're like, "Oh, we could just strap her to the hood." It's like we're almost
Yeah,
there. What's it? It'll be fine. Well, it's not like it's
but
gonna
they
rain.
they end up putting her on the roof because the hood would be inhumane.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's what hunters do. Sorry, I meant on. on the roof of the cars. And they say, well,
I
yeah,
mean, they discussed putting her on the hood.
yeah, it's a possibility.
Yeah,
But then they put her on the roof of the car and they say, hey, what's the worst that can happen? It's not like it's going to rain or anything. And of
yeah,
course, it's a downpour of rain.
right. And but they've at least thrown something over the body, so
Yeah, respectful.
respectful. And thank God we're not asking the actual Imogene Coca to like sit on the roof of a car and get rained on.
Yikes.
So they end up dropping Aunt Edna's body tied to a lawn chair on a patio at her son Normie's house in Phoenix, Arizona. And because Normie is out of town for some arbitrary BS reason, they just leave a note there with her body, like,
Yeah.
"Sorry, we'll call later."
Bye. Condolences.
So
Yeah, and at this point, everybody is pretty much like testy, on edge, and just like
yeah,
done with it. Like I think
yeah. Ellen's like, if we just went home, I wouldn't mind a bit. This trip has been a disaster in every sense of the word. Let's just cut our losses and go home.
right, like the daughter wants to go home, the son wants to go home. They get thing's been a bust, and this is at this point like Clark kind of snaps, and I believe he says the famous words. Uh, what did he say? I think have you all lost? Are you all fucked in the head? We're 10 hours away from the fucking park. I thought that was hilarious because like throughout the whole movie, Clark doesn't curse really at all. So to have him
Mm-hmm.
come out saying, "Are you all fucked in the head? What the fuck?" Like that, I think that
Yeah,
hit it a little bit home a little bit harder.
he's dropping some f bombs. Yes,
Yes, it's potty
yes.
mouth.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, we are only 10 hours away from Wally World, uh, and he's just bound and determined to take his family there no matter what, and make the most of the 3 days they have left.
Right.
And the whole reason he drops off Aunt Edna is because he doesn't want to spend the last 3 days of his vacation dealing with like the legalities of having a dead body and a funeral and all that.
Yeah,
He's just
it's a whole
no,
thing.
no, no. Her dying would be too much of a time suck. Let's just continue on to the amusement park.
This
You
death
know,
is
like you do.
yeah. Why should a death get in the way of a good time? That's all I'm saying.
Exactly, exactly. So yeah, Clark understandably gets into a fight with Ellen at the motel. This is the point in the movie where Ellen's hair has inexplicably changed to a new hairstyle.
As you do. Maybe it's the humidity. I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I mean, maybe it's supposed to be the humidity, but no, her hair has just gone from straight to curly, and I don't know if like Beverly D'Angelo like booked another job before they shot the end of this movie or what, but it's weird.
It's very possible.
So Clark storms out of the room. He goes to the motel bar, and he
Yeah,
once again, lo and behold, runs into Christy Brinkley.
yeah. Like, and before this, he looks like he's like sitting down next to other women trying to chat them up. He's like, oh,
Yeah,
is he looking to hook up? Interest.
I don't know because like you don't hear what is being said, but you get the feeling that Clark is just being awkward and weird with a variety of people at this motel bar.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, yeah, I think we all have been.
Hmm. Oh, indeed.
But yeah, so he runs into Christy Brinkley, woman in the Ferrari again. I'm just going to call her Christy Brinkley. It's easier.
Yeah, that's fine.
And he's trying to impress her still, and he lies his ass off, and he's like, "Oh no, actually, I own this motel and this entire chain, and I just travel around the country inspecting it once a year, and this is my brother's family that I'm traveling with, so I
Yeah,
look normal."
yeah. And then like at one point, she sees the wedding ring on his finger, and is like, oh, this is my brother's ring.
Yeah,
Which it's a funny line.
and you can't quite tell if she's buying it or if she's just humoring him. I don't know. It's a little weird. It's a little vague.
Yeah, I just got the impression that it's like, oh yeah, it seems like a fun thing to do. Maybe
Yeah,
that's how I took it. It's like, oh, this guy seems like good for a laugh.
I guess. Yeah, it's just like, oh well, I want to hook up with Chevy Chase, sex god,
Yes.
and I don't care the whys and wherefores. I just need to get some of that sweet, sweet Chevy Chase loving.
Mm. Got to chase after that chase.
I mean, because I don't know who People Magazine's sexiest man alive was in 1983. I'm guessing it wasn't Chevy Chase, but you wouldn't know it by this movie.
He's hot stuff, ladies. You want that chase?
He's hot stuff.
You want that chase on your face?
You have not had lovin' like 1983 Chevy Chase lovin'.
Right. That's right.
Um, so yeah, like they're walking out by the motel pool, and they're talking, and then Christy Brinkley is like coming onto him, and she's like, "Yeah, let's just take it." And she like takes off her dress, and she's stripping in front of him. It's so weird.
Yeah, because like she only goes down to the her underwear, and like from what I read on IMDb is they wanted
Yeah,
her to go full, il flagrante delicto, but
right.
she refused.
Well, because it's 1983, and God knows we haven't had enough gratuitous nudity in this movie. But yeah, Christy
Right.
Brinkley, to her credit, was like, "No, I'm not going to do that. I'll do my underwear because that's like next best thing to a bikini, and that's what I done. But yeah, you don't need me naked in this thing." So,
We don't need it, but
but I think it speaks well of Christy Brinkley that she was just like, "No, I'm not going to do that."
yeah, no, fair enough. Good on her.
Good on her, and Chevy Chase is trying to get on her.
Hey,
So Chevy Chase strips down and he dives into the pool after her, and then he is startled by how cold the water is. But it didn't bother Christy Brinkley at all.
yeah, that is weird. She just jumped in and it was fine, and
I
she's
guess she just wanted Chevy Chase so badly. She's so hot and bothered by the thought of getting with Chevy Chase
right.
that she is not bothered by the cold water.
She's so in heat that her heat turned the cold water warm.
There's water boiling around her body. Yes.
Mm. That pool became a hot
Um,
tub.
and, and he yells so loud that he wakes up the whole motel. Everybody comes out of their rooms.
Yeah, including and this is where I was like, all right, everybody else can see her too, so she's not like Tyler Durden, like she's a real person.
Right. Yeah, this pretty much confirms that Christy Brinkley's character is a real live flesh and blood woman, as unlikely as it seems.
Right. And yeah, so everybody in the hotel sees them in the pool, including Clark's kids and the wife Ellen, and
Yeah,
it's just bad news bears all around.
it it very much is. And strangely, there are two naked people in the pool, and then everyone just kind of goes back into their hotel rooms.
Yeah, I'm assuming just to pleasure themselves after that hot after
Well, it's just weird. It's like, I mean, not to be creepy McCreeperton, but I probably would have stood around gawking a little longer. You
yeah,
know,
I mean it is Chevy Chase, so I get it. I get
I
where you're
mean,
coming
it's
from.
1983 sex god Chevy Chase, so yeah, you want to sneak a peek,
I mean
is what I'm saying.
the man is just smoldering in sexuality.
You want to see what Chevy's packing.
Indeed, you want to
I mean, that is why he says I'm Chevy Chase and you're not. I mean, because
you want to
he's
drive.
got it going on.
Yeah, you want to drive that Chevy.
um, but yeah, so yeah, Clark he swims over to naked Ferrari lady and says, "I actually do have a family," and she's like, "Yeah, I kind of figured."
I saw through that ruse, sir.
She's like, "Yeah, I kind of caught on. I'm not a total idiot." Um, and then Clark gets dressed apparently remarkably fast because he's up at the balcony with his son before anything.
Oh yeah, that was pretty quick.
And he's like, "Oh yeah, that woman I was in the pool naked with, she was a swimming waitress." And I when I dove into the pool, I was just so startled by the temperature that I yelled.
Yeah,
And then
and
and then the swimming waitress came by and surprised me, and I yelled. And
yeah, and then like Rusty said, "Oh, do you think Mom's gonna buy that?"
yeah,
It's like,
and again, Anthony Michael Hall plays it beautifully. I mean, I do find it funny when a kid is playing wise beyond their years. It's
yeah.
weird when it's like
Sometimes
a really young kid, when it's like a kid who's under 10, but it's pretty funny when it's like a worldly teenager, you know?
yeah, I mean sometimes it can be a little. I don't want to say obnoxious, but like a little like trying too hard to be cutesy when that
Hmm.
happens. But
Yeah.
Anthony Michael Hall, hits just the right tone where he's like,
He nails it. Yeah.
yeah, he's good stuff.
Yeah. Good actor. Good actor.
Hmm.
And so yeah, and so Clark goes back into the hotel room, and then he makes up with Ellen, and then Ellen, as you do, says like, "Well, I'm going to show my husband, who I've now forgiven, how wild and spontaneous I can be. So I'm going to go skinny dip in the pool."
Yeah, I thought she forgave him awfully quick.
She forgives him in like within 30 seconds. It is nuts.
It's like you just caught your husband in the pool with another naked woman. That's
About to cheat on you, literally seconds away from cheating on you. And yeah, but they've refulfilled their marriage bond. And then yeah, when Ellen jumps in, she of course really cold water. She's like, "Oh no!" Oh, yeah. And then everybody rushes out of their rooms again. And when you see Audrey and Rusty back out, and now they're like kind of humiliated because their parents are there in the pool together. You see this blonde woman next to Rusty.
right. Oh, yeah, you
Did you
read about
notice
that?
this?
I did, and I just read about it like literally a minute or two ago. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, let's get into this.
It is so weird. Okay. Yeah, it says here on IMDb trivia there was a deleted scene scripted, probably filmed but cut, in which Rusty is seduced by a prostitute at the final motel. From simplyscripts.com, National Lampoon's Vacation, fourth draft, April 30th, 1982. It's immediately after Clark and Christy Brinkley were in the motel pool together. Exterior, motel balcony. Rusty, alone now, glances to his left and sees the hooker looking him over. Hooker! Hey, cowboy, want to have a party? Rusty, where? Hooker, in my bed. Rusty, who's coming? Hooker, just you. Rusty disappears into a room just as Clark rounds the corner. In the
Okay.
below scene, occurring a little later, is all that is actually seen of the hooker, played by Tessa Richard or Ricarde. I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name. It's like Richard with an E at the end. Exterior motel balcony. Audrey, Rusty, and the hooker watch in total amazement as Clark and Ellen splash around in the pool, yelling expletives.
Smash around. That's a whole different meaning.
Yeah, that's another deleted scene where they're smashing around in the pool. No, they're splashing around in the pool. But
Mhm.
that actually sounds kind of funny. It sounds really out there, but it sounds like it could be funny.
Could I mean I don't know. It's underage sex with the prostitute. It could be funny,
Yeah,
but
I mean
ooh.
it's definitely out there. It's definitely like in the National Lampoon vein of humor. But apparently, in the rewrites of this film, they really shifted the point of view from the kids to the parents because the original short story, Vacation '58, that is totally told from the point of view of the kids.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
so I guess I see why they cut it. But I mean, I can see it working. Anthony Michael Hall could have carried this film.
Yeah, I could see that. He's
I mean,
strong.
all
He's
things
good.
being equal, you don't need like a celebrity to bankroll your film. I totally get why they rewrote it for Chevy Chase. So Chevy Chase is the main guy, but it might be a more interesting film if it was more from Anthony Michael Hall Rusty's point of view.
Maybe. Yeah. Like it's like you said. Yeah, he definitely had the charisma to carry it, and I
Yeah.
mean, there's definitely. I mean, there's a reason why we see more of him than we do the daughter, because he definitely can pull it off a little bit more. Next scene, we made it. We're here. We're in L.A. We made it to California,
Hmm.
and yeah, we finally made it to Wally World. We see Clark weeping with joy after all the insanity that the family's been through. Uh, First thing you notice, no other cars in the parking lot anywhere. Totally empty parking lot.
Right.
So Clark's like, "Oh, we must be the first ones here." I mean, not only do you see no cars, you see no people anywhere around. So they're like, "Oh, I guess we're here early." So they park the car, as far as away from the entrance as possible, so they could be like the first ones out because they're the first ones there. They run towards the entrance of Wally World. Chariots of Fire theme song plays in the background. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, this is their big triumph. They've won throughout all the odds. They've beaten them.
right.
They get to
Rusty's grown like several inches because we shot this months later.
yes, absolutely, all that. And yeah, then we get to the front of the entrance of Wally World. Turns out the park's closed for 2 weeks
Park's
for
closed. Yeah,
yeah, for cleaning and repair.
right. So that they can stay America's number one theme park. And then
Yeah.
shortly after, they have the automated message from the Moose, from what is he called? Marty Moose, I think.
Yes, Marty Moose.
Yeah, Marty Moose. And we
And of
have a security guard played by John Candy, the great John Candy, who comes out and says, "Sorry, folks, park's closed. Moose out front. Should have told you." Great line of dialogue.
it's a good one. It's a good one. Yeah, and I think well, we'll get into it, but yeah, I think John Candy was added in with the reshoots here. But
Hmm.
yeah, uh, Clark sees that he is defeated. Park's closed, and this is when he snaps and he rages on and says like, no, no, we made it all the way over here. We deserve to be in this park. Roy Wally owes us this. He owes us a
Right.
day of fun in this park. Um,
Roy Wally, by the way, this world's equivalent of Walt Disney.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Who makes an appearance toward the end of this movie, looking exactly like Walt Disney, played by
yeah.
Eddie Bracken, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yeah. Eddie Bracken.
Yeah, yeah. When I saw him, I was like, oh, where do I know him from? And like I saw, like his IMDb credits, and he's done a ton of work. But the one thing I recognized him from was an episode of The Golden Girls where he played Buzz. That's where I know the great Eddie Bracken from.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm sure no other credits before that.
Nope, that's all he's done. Just that one episode of where
All he's done.
he dated Rose. So yes,
Um,
so that he
So,
got
so by the way, this might be a good time to go into the original ending of the film, which is much closer to the ending of the original short story. Because if you remember back at the beginning of this episode, I talked about this. The first line: "If Dad hadn't shot Walt Disney in the leg, it would have been our best vacation ever." So, yeah, the story ends with them with the dad getting a gun and then going to Walt Disney's house. He gets like a map to the stars homes and goes to Walt Disney's house and is threatening Walt Disney with a gun
wow.
because he is so enraged and
And
and yeah um so let's see. Towards the end of the story, Mom, Patty, Missy, Mark, and I were cleared of conspiracy charges. They held Dad for attempted murder, assault with a deadly weapon, illegal use of a firearm, and 2 violations of the Beverly Hills Noise Code. He had to stay behind. We went home.
wow.
And the original ending of the film consisted of the Griswold family, after seeing that Wally World is closed, going to the Hollywood house of Roy Wally. Clark points a BB gun at Wally, then forces him, a security guard, and Wally's business associates to sing and dance Wally World theme songs before the police arrive to arrest Clark. The girl in the red Ferrari arrives and turns out to be Wally's daughter, and she convinces him not to press charges against Clark. On the plane ride home, the Griswolds realize they are on the wrong flight. Clark snaps and hijacks the plane. This did not go over well with test audiences, and scenes in the park with John Candy were a last minute alternate ending filmed over 2 weeks, 4 months after production ended. The original ending was deleted and is believed to be lost. However, Chevy Chase has said that he has a videotape of the movie with the original ending. A photo of the Griswolds on the plane is shown during the end credits. So,
Wow. It's that's a choice. Definitely a choice.
I mean, again, that sounds like an interesting dark ending, and I do like the dark ending of the original short story. It does really work in the short story because in this, like, Clark Griswold goes to get a gun, and then he forces John Candy to go on all these rides with him at gunpoint, and
Right.
he kind of humiliates the other guard. By the way, the only other African American person in the film.
Diversity.
Diversity, and he makes him like roll around on the ground and bark like a dog. Am I getting that right?
I didn't even notice that. Did he do that?
I
Wow.
think there's some dialogue about that. I mean, it's such an inconsequential part, I can't remember. But
Okay.
I
But
just remember towards the very end, I was like, oh, hey, look, other black person. Yay.
we're doing it, breaking down barriers.
But yeah, so he, Roy Wally shows up and Clark has this heart to heart with Roy Wally, and Roy Wally drops all charges for some weird reason. And so Clark suffers absolutely no consequences for his actions.
Yay!
Yay!
Yay! Yay!
Yay!
I
Are
get,
we happy about this? Are we rooting for.
it's it's a
Do
bit.
we like Clark Griswold enough to not want to see him pay for his crimes? I don't know.
It's yeah, I will say that the ending is. I'm not too wild about it. It does feel like it's tacked on, and it ends really abruptly.
It's
As soon
very abrupt, very abrupt. I think you totally could have done a Blues Brothers type of ending and just had like Clark Griswold thrown in jail in prison at the end of this movie
yeah, no,
and the
absolutely.
family flying home to Chicago. I mean, that's a dark ending, but it's also a cool offbeat ending, and that sounds really appealing to me.
Yeah, but I guess I don't know. I guess it was too dark for some people, or but I
I
don't.
guess.
It's like you said. It's like the way you said with like the Blues Brothers. I mean, they went to jail for
Yeah.
all the insane things that they did because you can't just walk away from that shit. But they found a way to make it still funny and I don't want to say heartwarming, but
I
like a
mean,
little
I guess
uplifting.
it's still an upbeat ending because they're singing Jailhouse Rock at the end of Blues Brothers, and since this isn't a musical, you don't really have that option. But
Yeah, that's true.
I
But yeah,
I
it's
think they could have made it work somehow. It's just such a weird, abrupt ending. I mean, John Candy's very funny.
he's good. Yeah, he has some funny lines in it.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Um,
from what I read is when they filmed at the amusement park, it was probably one of a lot of people say it wasn't a great shoot because a lot of people got sick having to ride the rides multiple times for multiple shoots.
yeah.
I believe the daughter had to take like motion sickness pills because
Yeah, because they had to go on the rides. I mean, yeah, because you're shooting on a roller coaster. You have to go three, four, five, six times, however many times it
yeah, and,
takes to.
and I even think Anthony Michael Hall said yeah, there's like a few shots in there where I looked terrified on the
Yeah.
roller coaster. It's like I'm not acting; I'm genuinely terrified from being on that
Yeah.
damn roller coaster.
Yeah.
So
So
so it's traumatic for everybody.
traumatic for everybody, and also like boiling hot. They're saying like it was like 100 degrees. The pavement that we were running across was like 130 degrees. It does not sound like a pleasant shoot.
Yeah, Wally World.
Wally World. By the way, you talked about Dana Barron before, who played Audrey. She has had a long career. Apparently, still working. Her last credit is on an episode of The Goldbergs in 2019. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's
still
neat.
around, still working. So
Oh, fantastic.
had a good long career.
Okay. Oh, wow. I'm looking. John Candy was paid 1 million for his brief appearance at the end of the movie. Is that right?
That that is nutballs, man.
That can't be.
1 million.
I'm gonna. I,
1 million for a 2 week shoot. That sounds exaggerated to me.
this is what it says on the internet, and the internet does not lie.
I mean, I know the internet is never wrong, but 1 million, really? They were that desperate for the John Candy?
$1 million. That's what it
I
said.
mean, he was great. He was wonderful. He's obviously worth it, but that seems like a lot, man.
That's what it says. But I don't know.
Yeah. I think they still should have found a way to shoot uh, Roy Wally at the end. I think that would have been funny.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I do feel like the ending was a little bit of a cop out. I'll give you that.
yeah. Do you feel like this film still works overall?
Um. Hmm. Overall,
Because I'm feeling like in some ways it hasn't aged very well. I wasn't finding it too terribly funny this time around. There are moments. There are moments. I love the scene in the desert with Rusty chugging Clark's beer.
Yeah, yeah, that
But
was funny. I like the part with
yeah,
the highway cop.
yeah,
There are moments that are still funny, but overall, yeah, I would agree with you. I don't think it's aged terribly well. Um,
yeah, and it's I mean also just because Chevy Chase's shtick just seems so old and so almost hack at this point. It's
yeah,
very played out. You know?
yeah. I mean, I think at this point, like people had seen it 100 times on SNL, and I mean,
Yeah.
this isn't Chevy Chase's first movie, but like, it's
No.
but like at this point, we everybody kind of knew like, all right, this is Chevy Chase. He's gonna do this, this, and this. Like he kind of,
Yeah.
Chevy Chase is gonna Chevy Chase. Like,
He's gonna Chevy Chase, and he Chevy Chases up the wazoo in this movie. And I'm trying not to judge this too harshly through 2022 eyes, but I'm kind of judging it through 2022 eyes. I try to look at movies within the context of their time, but sometimes it's tough.
yeah, I mean, before this, he'd already done Caddyshack and Foul Play and Oh Heavenly Dog, so seems like old
Yeah.
times. So we like everybody kind of knew the Chevy Chase beats of his comedies. Like, all right, he does this, this, and this. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, it would have been nice to maybe see him play it a little bit more different. Like, I mean, he did a little. He played a little more different, like a little bit later when he did Fletch. But yeah, at this point,
Yeah.
he was like kind of
Like Clark, it would have been funnier. It might have been more of a contrast if Clark Griswold was even nerdier. I mean, he's a little nerdy, but he's not quite as nerdy as he could be. And
right.
I also feel like this might have been funnier if they'd actually done it as a period piece, if they'd actually had it take place in 1958. I
Mm.
totally get why they didn't, because that would have added a whole nother level of expense to the film. But I feel like they lost a little something by having it take place in the present day.
Oh, fair enough. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
I'll agree with you on that. I'll co-sign
Because
that.
it's funny. It's funnier to see somebody from like the repressive 1950s lose their shit than
Yeah.
somebody from the 1980s lose their
Yeah.
shit.
Like somebody from the 50s drop an F bomb. Now that's funny.
Yeah, exactly. Some dude with a 50s crew cut and horn rimmed glasses and
Yeah. High and tight.
yeah. Uh,
But yeah,
If
I'll
Clark
agree
had
with you.
started out as like this accountant type, I mean, I know he's supposed to be nerdy. They talk about like his job as food additives or something, and
Right.
but Chevy Chase he's only semi nerdy because he always wants to be the cool guy, you
Yeah,
know?
like he has those he did put in like a few of those, oh, I'm still suave moments, like when he met up with
Right.
Christy Brinkley at the bar and
Right, like
whatnot.
like I mean, yeah, I'm a nerdy dad, but yeah, still, Christy Brinkley
It's right.
wants to be all over this.
She still wants this butt chin I got.
Yeah,
Don't
and you
never
can't really
forget.
have it both ways, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. Either go all in one way or all in the other. I totally agree.
Right, right. It would have been better if Clark had been nerdier, I think.
I'll agree with you with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If like I'm thinking like a Michael Douglas and falling down kind of thing.
Ooh, all right. Now you're cooking.
Yeah.
Now you're talking. I like that.
Anyway,
Okay.
I think even Harold Ramis wasn't entirely fond of this film. I don't think it's one of his favorites anyway. I think he seemed to say like, "Oh yeah, I would do this a little differently today," like the scene where the hubcaps are stolen.
Yeah, that's true. There's some stuff that hasn't aged well. Like I think at one
Yeah,
point when for they leave for the trip, like when they say goodbye to their neighbors, one of them says, "Watch out for Indians," which I was like, "Oh, what?" That's like a weird thing they just
yeah.
threw in there. But overall, I mean, it's still beloved. People still look at it back on it with fondness. So there is still some good stuff in there to to be liked. I'd say.
Okay, if you say so. I feel like that's more nostalgia talking than anything. I feel like the people who are remembering this movie really fondly, they maybe haven't looked at it in a long time.
Mm, okay. All right. It's very possible. It's
Yeah.
very possible. All right. So I mean, overall, I think it still
Yeah.
pretty much works for the most part. But yeah, there's still it ain't perfect.
Some other interesting trivia I'm seeing on the IMDb trivia page. It says Richard Belzer, Robert Klein, and Bill Murray were all considered for the role of Clark Griswold.
Mm, that'd be
Griswold's station wagon, created especially for the film. Oh, this is nice. Chevy Chase adopted Stinky and Edna's dog after filming was completed. So that's
oh
nice. He made up for killing the dog on screen.
oh Stinky has a home.
Yay!
That's lovely.
I mean, of course, that dog is totally dead now, but
Yeah, of course.
yeah,
6 feet under.
yeah, long since dead. I mean, that
That's right.
dog has been dead for literally decades.
That's right. I'll go get the rest of the carcass.
This is interesting. Maureen McCormick, Marsha Brady, her own self, was considered for the role of Ellen.
Ooh, that's that would have been different.
That would have been different. Um, yeah,
All right, not bad.
this could have been a big Maureen McCormick comeback vehicle.
Yeah,
But
like
uh,
playing against
but I
type.
mean, Beverly D'Angelo does a very nice job. I mean, she has. It seems like a thankless role in many ways, but I think she does a very nice job.
Yeah, that's true. She does what she can with it. Like you said, like I
Yeah.
think she does well. You know, got the boobs out. Yeah, she does. She's good.
I mean, it's sad, but I mean, that's she doesn't have too much else to do besides being like, "Oh, Clark," and then yeah, the gratuitous nude shot.
Yeah, that's true. Again, like yeah, a lot of it doesn't age well, but overall, I think it's okay.
Yeah,
Overall,
I
not
think
bad.
they give her more to do in the sequels, don't they? I remember in Vegas Vacation they had a thing where like Wayne Newton tries to steal her away.
Oh yeah, yeah. That is a thing. I do remember that.
Yeah, um, I don't remember. Well, no, I remember a little thing that happens in European Vacation.
Okay.
Uh, not a great subplot for her, but I remember that. Like she does like a sexy dance for Clark and that he videotapes, and it somehow ends up in some person's hands, and then it's released as like this pornographic film.
Oh, so it's Tom and Pammy before Tommy and Pam was the thing.
I guess so. Yeah, yeah. It is. It is
Wow.
that. Yeah, it's like it's stolen and yeah, and she's violated and it's played for laughs. Ha ha ha
Haha.
ha. Yeah,
Hilarious.
because again, we '80s didn't know women were any good.
Yes. Good job, objects.
Yeah, and and I've never seen Christmas Vacation, so I don't know what happens to her in that one.
I have never seen that either. We should do that this year.
We should do that maybe this Christmas. That might be interesting because I know that one's kind of a beloved one.
Yeah, that's the one where the shitter's full line comes from, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, yeah, surprisingly little of Cousin Eddie in this, but I guess he became a bigger thing in the sequel. By the way, Dana Barron is the only actress to ever play Audrey twice. She played
Mm.
Audrey in this film and in Christmas Vacation 2, Cousin Eddie's Island Adventure.
Ooh, she played Audrey 2 times.
She played Audrey too. She played a man-eating plant.
Feed me.
So,
All right, far out, and yeah. So overall, not a bad movie. Could be better. Hasn't aged super well, but overall,
yeah,
not too shabby.
I mean, I'd say it's okay at best.
Okay,
It's
okay at best. Oh, the
that's what I'm saying.
summer's getting off to
Yeah.
a great start.
Yeah.
Okay, and
So,
that's our episode, guys. Thanks so much for listening, as always.
mhm.
Please rate and review and all that good stuff. We love to hear from you.
Subscribe.
Subscribe, that's the word. We love to hear from
Mhm.
you. We love to hear your feedback. You can follow us on Twitter at SNL Nerds Show. And you can follow me
Mhm.
on Twitter and Instagram at Darren Credible. That's Darin Credible.
And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Trumbull Comic. That's TRUMBULL and then the word comic. So,
Absolutely.
and we're going to be back next week. We're going to continue on with our summer movie marathon, and we're going to do another summer themed movie starring an SNL alum. We are going to do what I think was Bill Murray's first hit film, Meatballs.
That's right. Bill Murray. Other people.
Yes.
Uh,
Bill Murray as a summer camp counselor. I remember seeing this as a child. This was where I first discovered Bill Murray because I was in. That was like 1979, 1980, something like that.
I believe so.
So I was still too young to watch SNL at that point, but I saw Meatballs in the theater, and I was like, this is the funniest person ever. and
Yeah.
it started my love affair with Bill Murray.
Yeah, I remember he's not in the movie a whole lot, but once you see him in this film, like, he steals the film, I'll just say that. Yeah, this came out in, '79.
1979. It
Mhm.
was Ivan Reitman's first film. Was it Bill Murray's first film?
Uh,
No, he couldn't have been. He was in the Ruddles. I know that. So
yeah, that's true.
his first starring role, I think.
I would say so, yeah. I mean, '79,
Yeah,
that was a ways back.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, Ivan Reitman film. It's
Hmm.
we'll give this film a look see and report back to you guys, and we'll let you know what we think.
How does it hold up?
Does it?
I'm guessing the Bill Murray parts hold up well. The other parts, not so much. That was kind of my reaction the last time I saw this film.
Mm.
So,
All
which
right.
is which is probably why it's taken us 4 years to cover this film.
Yeah, we've been pushing this one to the side for quite a bit.
Quite a bit, but we were like, "Hey, it's summer. Let's do it. It's a summer film."
Are you
So,
ready for the
let's
summer?
yeah. Are you ready for the
Okay.
CITs?
Yeah,
Are you ready for the other stuff?
the birds and bees and the
And the
sycamore
da
trees.
da da. Yeah, it's not a memorable theme song, you guys.
No, it's no holiday road.
It is no holiday road. It
I
is no holiday road.
I found out a long time ago.
Yeah, found out long, long ago. And
Absolutely.
yeah, we'd like to thank Lindsey Buckingham for Lindsey Buckingham. Oh man, we had Lindsey Buckingham here on the podcast, all ready
Oh,
to share his vacation memories. And we're
oh
sorry,
man.
Lindsey.
Sorry, Lindsay. Sorry, baby. We're gonna get you
Lindsey,
back on.
you'll forgive us, won't you?
Yeah.
Will you? Come on, Lindsey, give us that smile. Come on. Yeah. All right. All right. Okay. So, Lindsay, maybe we'll be back here to talk about meatballs with us. But until then,
Nerds out.
nerds out.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.